Hi, this is Chris at the Wandering Bull. Today we're going to talk about ripping turkey feathers for a variety of projects. And in front of me I have a variety of turkey feathers, so we'll get started on that. What we're going to do is basically peel the side down, and they're going to break. They're not all going to come off nice and perfect. We're going to use every little scrap. Here's the quill. We basically peeled off the side of each one. And I have scrap feathers. So see how basically I'm going to hold the top in my left hand. With my right hand I'm going to pull this down, and that's going to break at times, which is totally fine. That's what we're going to use in this project, are all these little pieces. I'll make a big pile. Depends on your application on how many feathers you're actually going to rip up. But we'll get the gist of the project and how to actually pull the feathers down. Some people complain, oh, I end up with a whole bunch of short little pieces. Well, that's fine, because we're going to use all those little short pieces. So here's the bob wing. This is a secondary turkey feather off the wing. We're primarily working with wing feathers here today. So you got a variety of feathers. I want to basically, so this is, I peeled it down from here. Let's see. I peeled that down. So these ends, I want to gather them up. And I try to make my bundles out of all the same length feathers. It's not that important. We're going to make short little bundles. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have roughly 7 feathers. And they'll continue to break and kind of shed over time. I hold this end, and I'm using any thread you can totally use. I have the Nymo thread that we sell. I'm basically going to whip the end, and I want to get all the feathers that I put in that bundle. So I'm going to wrap it 20 times. I'm going to break that off, take my glue, and apply the glue to the thread, and then just work it right around the feathers. So basically, the thread's going to hold them all together. The glue's going to hold the thread together. I don't even tie a knot. Just put enough glue on the end so it's a pile. And we start with the next one. So let's do some short ones. So all the feathers I have here are all totally usable for our project. So again, I just hold those ends, take my thread, wrap it, 10, 15, 20 times around. And I want, as I said, I want to grab all those feathers that I put in that bundle and then apply glue to that thread. And over time, you'll see these feathers will twist and spiral. They'll shed, they'll break. Just kind of the nature of the feathers. You can use basically any kind of feather, wing feather, tail feather. I'm using a water-soluble glue. Any glue would work. If you use hot glue, that dries really fast, but it's pretty big and bulky on the feathers. I like using this glue because then I can get a needle through that project. So I used up the last little curly cues, and some of them are just going to be throwaways. right, now that I have my feather bundles together, I'm going to go into a next project. So now that we have our feathers, our little bundles all made up, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's one application. It's an Eastern Woodlands cap, quilled band, some paint and deer hair down the back. But here's all those feathers. And see how they all turn and twist and get shorter over time? And I got some red in there, there's some white, and there's some turkey tail feathers as well. So these guys would fit in nicely. So over time, I'd add more feathers to this because they tend to break, fall off. I like it nice and full. So here's my Eastern Woodlands cap. Here's another application for these torn feathers. It's deer hair, porcupine quill work, and porcupine tubes, and porcupine quilled tubes, and they're quilled on a piece of ash, both front and back. So what I've done is have some of that quill, and I wrap my bundle of feathers and slide them in the hole. And here's the one for the front. So those feathers all torn up just like that. But I left a piece of quill and I tied that bundle of feathers onto a piece of quill, and I can slide it right in that hole. So another application for them. So with the feathers that I have here, I'm going to basically sew them into a ring, and then we'll have another application for them. So I have a piece of imitation sinew. Oh, it's 20 inches long, and a Glover's needle, the #1. And you could use basically any kind of cordage and any kind of needle. This is easy. The Glover's needle is going to slide through the bundles of feathers that we have glued. So basically I want to apply that Glover's needle and catch the threads on the whipping that we did around the feathers. And I have a knot at the end. Pull that tight. There's one. Two. Three. Put the last one on. So I'll have 5 bundles of feathers on this ring. So I have all my feathers strung on this piece of imitation sinew. I'm going to slide the bundles together. Take my 2 ends, tie them in a relatively good knot. And the imitation sinew stretches over time, so I like to double up when I'm making that knot. Go through that hole several times and pull it tight. All right, so now I can snip off the needle. So I have basically a ring of feathers. So the application for this, here's our flat roach that we've done video on this. And here's a roach spreader. So it's elk antler with a piece of quilled turkey feather, and there's the top. So you could theoretically use the scrap from peeling them off for this project as well. So this is designed to slide in your hair, if I had hair, and then this bundle of feathers would sit in the back, and your roach spreader would sit in there. Now here's the roach pin. So your braid would go through the feathers, through the roach, through the roach spreader, and you slide that pin in, and that would theoretically hold it all together. Eastern Woodland style roach. So here's another application. So here is a hair base porcupine roach. The feathers could be applied either in the top, and then the same, you'd put the roach spreader in, and then slide the pin through the hole. That would basically sandwich it to your head. Put the ring of feathers below. Slide your braid through the feathers, through the roach spreader, and then slide that pin in so that bundle of feathers would be below the roach. Several applications for this project. So here's a turban. I've seen folks with turbans put the ring of feathers on the inside, apply the roach as well, and then the roach spreader and then you take the roach pin and slide that through. So this particular turban has a cloth crown in it. So it's a convenient way. You'd put a lace in the crown, pop the lace up through the top, and then we go through the feathers, through the roach spreader, and then you can slide the pin in. Basically keep it all together. When you're done dancing, take it all apart, put it away safely. Here's another turban with no top on it. So if you wanted to apply that application, you would certainly need to put a cloth crown in there to keep all that material together. Some other applications: elk antler spreader, little carved thunderbird in there, medicine wheel on the back, some painted feathers. Top is a turkey feather, a little bit of quill work. Got a peacock feather in there as well. So here's where that bundle of feathers that we've been working with, you can apply that to wanderingbull.com. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram. If you have any questions, you can certainly give us a call at 1-800-430-2855. Thanks for watching.